2XKO is in big trouble. Already, it just released. Yet Riot has begun firing tons of employees on this game specifically, with some even claiming to get 30 minutes notice before getting laid off, despite working on this game for 10 years. Wow, this might be the biggest drama in modern fighting games. But why is it happening? As someone who's worked in the game industry myself, I have a decent idea why. So let's talk about it for today's video. I'm gonna cover all the drama while also diving into why it's happening in the first place. But real quick, to everyone watching, please leave a like so game developers get treated better, because honestly the entire game industry is infamous for doing stuff like this and it needs to stop. Also, let me know if you want more 2XKO content on this channel, because recently I started doing more Street Fighter content and even more Tekken content, and you guys have been so supportive and just so awesome. I'm blown away by the views. Every video I make is for you guys and gals, so leaving a like or subscribing helps me understand which videos you love. So with all that being said, everybody, let's get into today's video. Without any further ado, let's begin. Alright, let's begin with the official statement from Riot Games themselves, because this whole situation is not a rumor. It's already been confirmed that tons of employees are being laid off almost immediately after 2XKO released. Not even joking, the game's been out for like, what, a month, maybe a bit more at this point, and already tons of layoffs. And Riot themselves gave us a message, so I'm gonna read that, go over it a little bit. If you want to skip this part and go straight to the drama, I understand, here's the timestamp on screen, but this first part has to be spoken to lay the groundwork. So alright, here we go, from Riot Games themselves, the people behind League of Legends and also 2XKO. After a lot of discussion and reflection, we're reducing the size of the 2XKO team. That's a fancy way of saying we're firing people, or moving them somewhere else, but usually firing people. I want you to know this decision wasn't made lightly. As we expanded from PC to console, we saw consistent trends in how players were engaging with 2XKO. The game has resonated with a passionate core audience, but overall momentum hasn't reached the level needed to support a team of this size long term. People aren't buying enough. In other words, that's the reality. The game is free to play and lots of people downloaded it. Apparently it's number 3 right behind Fortnite and Roblox. So yeah, this game had a big premiere, a fantastic debut, tons of downloads from players. However, people just aren't buying. That's why this is happening. Game is free, so it's relying on the store and people buying stuff to pay all the employees, and the money's just not coming in. With a smaller focused team, we're going to dig in and make key improvements to the game, including some of the things we've already heard you asking for. We'll share some of our plans soon. This has me worried because of how vaguely it's worded. This sounds like a skeleton crew, right? People making changes and updates, moving numbers around, balancing the characters a bit, and maybe finishing characters that are already in production. But outside of that, I'm worried about this game's future. Because again, the verbiage and how they've worded this paragraph makes it seem like they're down to a skeleton crew at this point. Now maybe they'll bring in more people when they want to add more characters, or if the game does better, but I'm not entirely sure. Our plans for the 2026 competitive series are unchanged. We remain committed to partnering with tournament organizers and local communities. Our focus will continue to be on supporting the events and organizers that already power the fighting game community. Okay, so at least that's some good news. If you've devoted time to this game, right, getting good at it with the hopes of competing and earning some big money, nothing about the tournament scene or plans has changed. Which on the one hand is great, but on the other hand, PC players had a huge head start. Like, it's not even fair. So if you're a console player and want to compete at tournaments, it's gonna be difficult for you. Because believe it or not, over a year now or so, PC players have already been enjoying this game. They have so much more experience than you, knowledge of different matchups, the characters, all that stuff. But skipping ahead, this next part is about the employees. We're committed to supporting impacted Rioters through this transition, including helping them explore opportunities within Riot where possible, and providing a minimum of 6 months notice pay and severance where it's not. Okay, so in other words, they're trying to help employees find other work within the company without having to fire them and force them to find work elsewhere, so that's good. And if they can't find the new spot for them at Riot, they're giving them 6 months pay in advance. That way they still have money as they search for new jobs, right? The job hunt continues. Never fun, but it's nice to have money while you're searching. Alright everybody, so according to this update and message from Riot, it seems like that the employees are being treated pretty well. However, this one post on Blue Sky is going very viral because it paints a different image from Smokage of the Burning Leaf. 10 years on 2XKO, 12 at Riot, and I got laid off with 30 minutes of notice. LOL. Gonna take some time. Yeah, so if true, that really sucks. Nothing uncommon in the workplace, unfortunately. This is just corporate life at studios, especially gaming studios. So at the very least, I do hope Riot gave them that 6-month severance like posted in their message. I hope that's the case. Real quick though, that name, Smokage of the Burning Leaf. Can people start having professional names when they work for big companies, please? Alright? I understand I'm True Underdog, which is still goofy, but it's not like Pot Smoker 42069. Like, come on, what are these names? Overall, what does this all mean for 2XKO? Honestly, it's not looking good. I'm just being honest with you. How are we supposed to get new characters on a regular basis if the team is much smaller now? Because apparently Riot did promise having new characters on a consistent basis, and I'll stay optimistic, keep my fingers crossed, but man, this is not looking good. Because making brand new characters takes a while. It needs a big team to be consistent and fast. This entire situation is very sad, but I did see this coming. I think I mentioned it a couple of times on the Combat Kings podcast. Because 2XKO had a weird development process. It was mentioned back when I was still in college, 10 years ago. It's been a while, man. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Why is this all happening to 2XKO? As mentioned earlier, I spent some time in the game industry, and before that, I was studying the game industry at college. So I have a bit of knowledge and experience in this regard, and to me, the most obvious answer is the correct one here. It's about money. Not enough money, to be specific. 2XKO is a free-to-play game and actually got tons of downloads, like mentioned earlier. However, downloads don't fund a game or pay the employees. That's what the game store is for, and it looks like almost nobody was buying anything. And I mean, I can kind of see why. These costumes are like 20 bucks a pop. Then you have bundles of like 4 or 5 costumes for $100. That is steep, man. That's an entire game, which, believe it or not, is similar to Marvel Rivals, which is doing fantastic, but the difference is grinding in that game feels natural, and you can get everything for free or next to free. Like, pay $5-7 for the battle pass, and eventually you unlock everything, and it's not that much grinding, to be honest with you. Plus, the game is fun, so I don't mind grinding it. Whereas in 2XKO, I grinded to unlock the characters, got them pretty quickly, but then I was left with money I couldn't spend because the store rotates, and I hate that. In other words, you don't have access to everything at the same time. Instead, Riot says, here's these costumes you can buy right now, and then next month here's a new selection. I hate that. Let me buy the costumes I want right here, right now. I'll even pay real money. I don't care because the game is free. So typically, as a rule, I don't mind spending up to the cost of a regular video game. So like $60-70. However, Riot's limiting what I can buy in 2XKO, and that really bothered me. I wanted this outfit for Vi. I wanted this outfit for the Hawaiian broad, whose name I always forget, but I love that character. And I just can't buy those costumes right now. They're not for sale at the moment. That's so stupid. Why are you limiting which money can come in? But alright, there's one more big factor I want to talk about that pretty much no one else is covering: developer hell. That's right, because 2XKO was being made for about 10 years, people. That's a very long time, and the time equals money. Employees were still getting paid that entire time with basically no return on investment because there was no game. So in other words, the people funding 2XKO were like, okay, where is the game? We keep paying employees, we keep paying for resources and all that stuff, but we're not making any money back. Why is this game taking so long to make? The entire time Riot is spending money on this game while getting zero money back. So now fast forward to the game finally dropping, and it's kind of a flop financially. It's not making very much money. Granted, it's only been 1 month, but theoretically that should be the biggest month when you make the most money. So in other words, if you watching are trying to sell something, open a new store or something, and then in the first month it doesn't sell very well, that's not good, because typically that graph doesn't go back up. It starts big and then slowly starts to decline. So when 2XKO finally launched with the store fully open and it didn't make a lot of money right away, that's kind of the writing on the wall, which is the main reason why people are getting laid off and the team size is being reduced. The game's just not returning all the money that's been spent on it. Now, for the record, I'm not justifying firing these employees on such short notice or even laying them off right now, because the game could bounce back. It could start making more money. That's happened before. It's not impossible. So don't think for 1 second I'm justifying these layoffs. I'm just letting you know why it's happening and what the people up top top are thinking in the industry right now, right? The people funding the game, I'm having you understand their headspace. And the game developer team getting smaller does really suck because this game already lacks a lot of content. It's a very bare bones game, to be honest with you. There's no story mode and not really much single player content at all unless you count the training mode stuff, like combo trials and other tutorials. Outside of that, 2XKO has online play, and that's it. Grind for the costumes, grind for some cosmetics, and otherwise there's nothing else to really do. Then, like mentioned earlier, the store doesn't make much sense. You can't buy the stuff you want right away. You're forced to wait, which makes people log off and just not turn the game on again. Which once again makes me want to scream to everybody in the gaming industry, just copy Marvel Rivals. They're doing it perfectly. You spend like $7 and get 15 costumes. It's great. But alright everyone, there you have it. I covered the drama of what's happening with Riot and 2XKO and also explained why I think it's happening. The game just hasn't made much money, and yeah, it's been a very short amount of time, but that's typically when you make the most money, when a game first releases, and according to Riot and other people funding 2XKO, the money's just not that impressive. I really do wish the game industry was nicer to its employees. Leave a like down below if you agree. It's a rough place, the gaming industry, and I hope that everyone at Riot finds work. To anyone watching who enjoyed this video, subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss any future content, and let me know in the comments if you want more 2XKO videos. Thanks everybody, make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.